Hi everyone, welcome back. I thought I would just do a video on grief because that's what's real in my life right now, and it wouldn't make sense for me to not talk about grief on a channel that walks through graveyards and honors the celebration of life in both the garden and the graveyard, and the joy and the sorrow. And so this is just a candid video of what's happening with me right now. I am fast approaching my 47th birthday, and my family experienced a death in that's pretty close to our lineage proximity, let's just say, a week ago. And I just want to presence that there is so many layers to grief. I have been experiencing death in my life since I was 3 years old in many, many ways, and it never gets easier. Sometimes it's harder, but it's always different. And the layers and complexity as we get older get woven tighter. And so today I'm holding the grief and the sorrow of childhood me, of my family, of different lineages, of my grandmother and my cousins and my mother and my aunties, and there's just, and my siblings, of course, and that alone would be enough to hold. But the reality is we live in a world that's just like an emotional war zone, and there are protests and there are family diversions and differences, and friends and coworkers and community members on opposite sides of the war, and it's heartbreaking and hard to hold and to experience and to face. And it doesn't stop there, because I have a very dear friend going through a very difficult situation, and I grieve for her and her family and her situation. And of course I hold her in my heart. And then it still doesn't stop, because I have friends close and distant that have lost family members also this month, or this, the last week, and friends with family members in hospice. And it's just layers and layers and layers of loss that I'm holding and experiencing. And then there's the death of ego. There's the death of dreams that are unrealized, and it's time to let them go, which can be very hard and very difficult to do, because we hold these dreams dear and near to our hearts, and we believe in them so strongly. And when it's time to let them go, it's It can be very hard to do. And the truth is, all of it's happening right now. And there's so many more layers. There's so many, it's not just the cycles of death and life. I should mention there's life, right? I mean, my sister-in-law is about to have a baby, and my grandchildren just had birthdays, and there's so much bounty and beauty that's also happening right alongside the loss and the grief and the sorrow. And then there's spirals within spirals, because inside of the loss and the gains, we have woven in complex lives like health issues and financial issues, and of course I'm caring for seedlings, and it's just like there's these small things, these small daily actions that we have to take, and then there's big overarching lifestyle choices that we have to make, and then there's just like the nitty gritty nose to the grindstone kind of thing that is in our face, and we have to face them. And it can all just be so much. It's so much to hold all at once. And I understand that that's adulting, and it just happens that way sometimes. And there's cycles in our lives which feel very light and free and full of good, and very little, just like little droplets of hardship. And it's so much easier to take those shots when our cup is full and overflowing. But when our cup is empty and we feel depleted and sad and depressed, and the cup keeps getting filled with hardship, or the cup keeps getting emptied before it gets full, because we care so deeply, it can just really feel so heavy and depleted and hard. And I know I'm not at all in a place that some other people are in, where their lives are in danger, or they're starving, or all the many other ways that people are experiencing lives that are really hard right now. This is not about comparing or about my life is harder than yours. It's just about standing in my truth and expressing myself, and letting you all know that if you're feeling the heaviness of life right now, I understand. I hold compassion and love for all of you. And I'm praying daily that life gets easier, at least long enough to take deep breaths, long enough to feel that lightness and that joy and that openness, so that our cups can be filled with magic and hope and abundance, so that when these hard days and these dark nights come again, we're strong enough. And that's today's video. We're not touring a graveyard in physicality. We're exploring the graveyards of our soul. What has to be laid to rest, what can be honored, and what can be celebrated. I invite you to contemplate those questions for your own lives. And if you feel inclined, please put it in the comments. Find me on Instagram and DM me if you need a little extra support. And until the next video, please keep celebrating your life. And I'll see you next time. Bye.